It's Friday, March 11th. Let's talk PlayStation. Okay, so I got the regular microphone audio finally going, and the room is pretty much kind of set up the way I like it right now. Maybe a few other things, but for the most part, it's kind of set up pretty good, looking pretty clean. Got my shelf in the camera view right there. Excuse me, I've had a little bit of a cough the past few nights. I'm really not even sure if I'll keep this camera pointed setup. Maybe I'll try it angled in different ways or something until we find something I kind of like. It works better this way because the audio will be right next to me, so it sounds good. Otherwise, if I was on this side, then the microphone would be further away and it'd be even harder to hear me that way. And also, I know it's weird to have like news stories on this side, but again, it works out better that way because of the microphone. Anyway, it was a bit of a slow news week for PlayStation, but we still got some stuff to talk about. So namely, let's start off with this, which is that you can actually start importing games from Japan now on Amazon, which is something we all know and love and use regularly, right, as Amazon. Kind of a nice place. So even if you're not using something like PlayAsia.com or something, now you have a little bit more of a familiar place to do it from. You can go to Amazon.com. You have to do it from an Amazon, excuse me, a Japanese specific account, but that is a place now where you can basically start importing games from there. They will ship internationally, and if you didn't know, pretty much all PlayStation platforms are region-free, so you can import PS3 games, PS4 games, and those Japanese games are going to be working just fine on your U.S. console, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, last week, Microsoft actually confirmed that Lionhead Studios is going to be closing, and all that talent, of course, within that studio are going to have to be finding new jobs, which is certainly, that's not great news and everything. But the little upside of that is actually that PlayStation Europe is going to be hosting like a little recruitment day or something. They actually posted on Twitter that from their PlayStation Jobs Twitter account that they're going to be doing a little recruitment thing, trying to field some talent out, give those people some new jobs. So that's always a little uplifting to see. Whenever we do talk about layoffs in the industry or studios getting shut down or whatever. I mean, not only is it sad to see a talented team finally be shuttered and you're not going to see cool games coming from them anymore, but these are hardworking people that are honestly making a living, so it sucks for them to see them lose their jobs. And it's nice that not only Sony but many other companies step forward and say, hey, send us your resumes because we'll try and hook you up. This is basically going to be the PlayStation VR show because that's really the only thing we had to talk about this week. This past week, Sony confirmed an age restriction for PlayStation VR, in case you wanted to know that. And the age limit is, or the age minimum basically is 12. So if you're not 12 years old, you're not going to be able to use PlayStation VR. At the very least, that's what Sony's recommending in terms of why they, it's just one of the health concerns basically when you're as young as 12 years old and you're still growing up. And for kids, it's like, the visual development is very important there. And I guess with virtual reality, it would kind of interfere with that. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not really going to question that. I'm not going to assume many people are going to try to be using this thing that are under 12. more of a parent thing, really. If you're a parent and you get PlayStation VR, be sure to not give it to them until they're at least 12 years old. But speaking of Polygon, a few top PlayStation execs were discussing PlayStation VR. Specifically, Masayasu Ito was referring to PlayStation VR, and he went a little bit of in-depth regarding, basically the quality of it and acknowledging Oculus Rift. And this is really the first time where Sony openly admits that PlayStation VR is not the most high-end virtual reality on the market. He was quoted as saying, "If you just talk about the high-end quality, yes, I would admit that Oculus may have better VR. However, it requires a very expensive and very fast PC. The biggest advantage for Sony is our headset works with PS4. It's more for everyday use, so it has to be easy to use and it has to be affordable. This is not for the person who uses a high-end PC. It's for the mass market." That's something, of course, we already know, but again, this is just Sony finally publicly admitting, this is not going to be, it's not going to beat Oculus Rift in terms of quality. It's probably not going to, match, the HTC Vive. This is supposed to be an affordable entry point for virtual reality. We already knew that, but again, this is just Sony kind of admitting that. Which, you see a news story like this, and you've always got the field of people that are kind of looking at this and going, oh, well, if it's not high-end, if it's not quality, why should I buy it? But then you got the other end of people going, I'm not going to buy this thing unless it's affordable. And it's kind of a lose-lose scenario because you're never going to be pleasing every single consumer. But at the end of the day, that's absolutely what Sony needs to make this thing. And I think for a lot of people, they're kind of okay with that because a lot of people are saying, we're not going to buy this thing if it's, over $400. Which is certainly a reasonable thing to say because virtual reality is a very expensive thing, whether you're going to be doing it on PS4 or PC. You're going to be spending some extra cash to actually try this thing. And since a lot of people have some reservations about virtual reality already, it's kind of one of those things where Sony has to be in a place to get this technology in people's hands to at least try it, to finally convince people to show people that this is actually a compelling experience, and maybe they, it's something that you should actually try and get for your own home. Because again, it's one of those things where it's like, nobody's going to be happy. If it's too expensive, people aren't going to buy it, and if it's not high quality, people are going to complain that it's low quality. It's just you can't please everybody. But speaking in regards to the future of PlayStation VR, and we touched on this a few times, but the PlayStation Magic Lab, Dr. Richard Marks discussed that a little bit, and he was quoted as saying, "We definitely believe there will be a follow-up someday. We're doing everything and planning and setting it up so that we would know how to make a next one and make that make sense for our customers and stuff. So yeah, we don't think of this as a one and done by a long shot, and we also don't think VR is like that." Kind of echoing, excuse me, I'm sorry about the coughing. Again, echoing Sony's past statements about VR. They really are committed to this thing. They want to try and make this a real interesting thing for people and not just kind of a quick cash grab. Even more so, again, it's that long-term thing. Not only do they believe it's going to be a long-standing platform, but they want to make it part of their product lineup moving forward. So certainly, they're looking at what they want to do for the next PlayStation VR, even though the current one isn't already out. I mean, when you look at it, this is the really first generation of VR that actually works. Of course, virtual reality has been around for a long time, but this is sort of the first major push from a lot of companies in a long time. So this is kind of the first wave of this new technology. And when you look at it, a lot of these headsets are still pretty bulky. They still require wiring and everything, and they're still heavily restricted in certain aspects, whether it's their the resolution or the tracking of it or input methods being the controller, right? There's still a lot of things that are keeping these things back. It's in the same veins of early phones, early televisions. They were bulky, big, they didn't work that well. This is that first line of virtual reality. So down the road, whether it's PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6, or how quickly PC advances nowadays, over time they're going to be the displays are going to get even smaller. You're going to have more complex input methods. And the experience is just going to get more and more real. And like I said, it is a quiet news week. There's not really much going on, but we will have a lot more to talk about next week, because on the 15th is when Sony's going to be holding their special little GDC PlayStation VR event, where we're all assuming they're not only going to announce probably some new games, probably a launch lineup, but more importantly, like when this thing's going to come out and probably a price point. And in terms of the price point, again, you got Oculus at $600, you got the Vive at $800. We got Sony openly admitting how many times now that this thing is definitely going to be priced affordable for the mass market, but at the same time it's going to be priced similarly to a new console. Again, I'm thinking around $300 probably going to be that sweet spot for VR, for PlayStation VR specifically. But we'll have to wait and see until next week. Anyway, those are some of the news stories I want to talk about with you guys this week. The Ryan on Gaming topic was the perception of games nowadays and my personal experience growing up with them. A lot of the times, people see games as sort of a very nerdy thing. The older generation sees it as something that's not healthy. Oh, stop playing games, go play outside. That whole mentality, right? The perception of games and my personal experiences. I'll give you some stories in that video too. Check that video out. Excuse me. I'm pretty much dying here. I don't got that much longer. This past Monday, I uploaded a new video game teacher, which was Call of Duty World at War on veteran difficulty. I showed my friend, who's never played Call of Duty, by the way. I made him play veteran mode on Call of Duty, which was hilarious. I love filming that video.
Taking cover. I'm about to die, Ryan.
You're taking cover. You're aiming.
I'm about to die.
You're like so nervous right now.
There's just that's all I'm looking for is grenade indicators, because they're everywhere.
Watch that, by all means. You'll probably get a laugh or two out of it. Now, next week will be or this coming Monday for you guys, will be the new Let's Play. I still don't know what it is, because a lot of people liked what we did last time, so we'll do it again this time. We'll do a Twitter poll. So if you want to vote for what the next Let's Play will be, go to my Twitter account. Go to Twitter. I'm at Mystic Ryan on Twitter, and you will be able to vote for the next game. There's only going to be two choices this time, because these are the one or two options I want to do. Either one, the Resistance 3 co-op Let's Play that I actually filmed a while ago, but I want to finally start uploading that. So it's between that, which was really fun, by the way. I loved filming that one as well. That was also with Brandon, so that was a lot of fun. And actually, I filmed that with I filmed both of our screens, so I kind of the way I'm editing that, it's where it does cutaways, basically like Let's Play Rooster Teeth style, where you get to see both of our screens and everything. That was a good Let's Play. And then the other one, the other option is a God of War game, but it will be played on PlayStation Now. So that whole Let's Play will actually be a PlayStation Now experiment where I will play an entire game on PlayStation Now. It will be specifically God of War because I've been wanting to play God of War game for a while on the channel. So I'm just really feeling that one right now. So that is the two choices between the Twitter poll, and whichever one wins will be the next Let's Play, and that will go up this coming Monday. So that's pretty much it. That concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Beck. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I'll see you guys next Friday. I know I sound so sick. Hopefully I'll sound better next week.